Imagine it is 1747. You have an unbearable migraine or a fever that just won't go down. You go to the most prestigious doctor in the city, a man with a powdered wig and degrees from Oxford. He opens a jar, pulls out a brown viscous substance, and tells you, "Drink this a bit of wine. You will feel better." What you just swallowed is not an exotic herb. It is pure animal waste. For centuries, medicine did not look for plants. It looked for what the body expelled. Today, we are going to open the Pharmacopeia Universalis, the book that dictated who lived and who died, to discover the top 7 of the most bizarre dung-based remedies in history. From number 7, which seems harmless, to number 1, which will make you question the sanity of our ancestors. Before judging them, we must understand their logic. In the 18th century, medicine was governed by the theory of the humors. It was believed that disease was an imbalance. If you were cold, you needed something hot. And it turns out that organic waste, through fermentation, was considered a hot and active substance. Dr. Robert James, author of the famous Pharmacopeia, was not a quack. He was a visionary who believed that every part of an animal, from its eyes to its excrement, contained vital spirits. To him, dung was a concentrate of the properties of what the animal had eaten. Let us see how he applied this science. Hello, scribes. Prepare yourselves, because today we will become medieval doctors. Mask and leeches ready. I am Lucius, and this is Scribe History. Let us begin. Number 7. Ovis, the sheep. Dr. James claimed that sheep dung was refreshing and drying. If you had jaundice, that yellow tint on the skin, the recipe was clear. Compresses of sheep fecal matter applied directly to the body. The most curious part? They also used it for corns and warts. Basically, it was the most extreme skincare of the era. Mild? Compared to what is coming. Yes. Historical records show that in rural England, farmers would wait for the sheep to graze on specific herbs, believing the medicinal power of the plants was concentrated in the waste. It was a common sight to see people with bandages full of manure, hoping to soften their skin or cure a disease. To them, it was a natural gift from the earth, a way to recycle the energy of the flock. Number 6. Corvus, the raven. This one is fascinating because it mixes medicine with superstition. For a cough, and to help children's teeth come in without pain, Dr. James recommended hanging raven dung around the child's neck. Not eaten, but as a biological amulet. The constant smell, according to them, cleaned the air that the child breathed. An aromatic solution. In the 1700s, teething was a dangerous time for babies, often leading to infections and death. Desperate parents would pay high prices for the waste of a raven, as the bird was seen as a creature of long life and wisdom. They believed the spirit of the bird would guard the child's throat, providing an aromatic and very brown protection against the shadows of death. Number 5. Marula, the blackbird. If you had freckles and wanted to erase them, Pliny and Dr. James had the solution. Blackbird dung mixed with vinegar. This acidic paste was applied to the face. The logic was that the acidity of the vinegar and the strength of the bird waste would corrode the imperfection. Literally, they put poop on their faces for vanity. The nobility of Europe would sit in their salons with bird poop on their faces. It was a chemical peel of the Georgian era, though I suspect the smell was anything but royal. Number 4. Columba, the pigeon. Pigeon waste was considered violently hot. It was so potent they said it could draw blood to the surface. It was used to treat the gout and vertigo. It was crushed, sifted, and applied with watercress seeds. If the patient felt their skin burning, it meant it was working. There are historical accounts of patients crying out in pain as the pigeon plaster burned their skin. But the doctors were happy. If the patient felt their skin burning and turning red, it meant the bad humors were being pulled out. It meant it was working. In a time before aspirin, people preferred the burn of a pigeon to the constant agony of a swollen foot. Number 3. Moose mare, the rat. For women suffering from the suppression of their period, the good women of the time, as James calls them, prescribed 9 pieces of rat excrement. Not 8, not 10, 9. They were swallowed directly, like natural pills. Here, medicine was already crossing a line that today would turn our stomachs. Why 9? because in ancient medicine, numbers had magical power. The rat was seen as a creature of immense fertility and survival, and by eating its waste, a woman was supposed to regain her own biological rhythm. This was not just a remedy for the poor. These rat pills were discussed in medical circles as a singular and effective cure. Number 2. Pava, the peacock. Dr. James has a tonic for you. You had to collect dried peacock dung, powder it, and let a small cup's worth macerate in white or red wine overnight. After exposing it to the air for several days, you drank the infused wine. It was a remedy of high society, elegant, but absolutely disgusting. Peacocks were expensive, exotic birds kept by the wealthy. There is a famous case of a nobleman who drank this peacock wine for weeks, believing the royal beauty of the bird would stabilize his brain. In the mind of an 18th century doctor, the more beautiful the animal, the more potent the cure, even if that cure came from the back end of the bird. Number 1. Homo, the human. In the Pharmacopeia of 1747, the waste of our own species was considered soothing and ripening. It was prescribed internally to cure angina and to repress the paroxysms of fevers. Imagine the scene, a patient agonizing with fever, perhaps a wealthy merchant or a scholar, and the doctor giving them a dose of human matter to calm their system. It was believed that, being of our own nature, the body would absorb it better to fight against enchantments and inflammation. This was the peak of what historians call corpse medicine, a time when the human body itself was seen as a pharmacy. It is the crudest reminder of how far humanity was from understanding hygiene and bacteria, and how desperation can make any substance seem like a miracle. It is easy to laugh at these doctors today, but they operated with the best information they had. They were trying to solve the mystery of life and death with the tools of their time. The desperation to cure has led humanity down very dark paths, involving ravens, rats, and our own shadows. The next time you complain about the taste of a cough syrup or the smell of a hospital, remember King Charles II, who died surrounded by the smell of burnt hair and crushed skulls. Remember the patience of Dr. James, and be grateful to live in the 21st century. Which of these remedies seemed the most unbearable to you? Would you have chosen the peacock wine or the rat pills? I will read you in the comments. Give a like and subscribe. See you in the next trip to the past. These treatments often cause more harm than good. Our ancestors were desperate and lacked our modern understanding of bacteria and infection. Let's leave the rat pills and the pigeon plasters in 1747. If you're sick, trust modern science, not the farmyard.